It's happened again, y'all.
Another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish. This time it was at the police news conference announcing an arrest in the Tampa serial killings.
We will be charging 4 counts of first degree murder.
Standing off to the side, apparently translating every word, this woman.
This woman.
We received over 5,000 tips in this case.
But it turns out much of what she was signing was nonsense. She waved her
This is that crystal meth music.
arms around like she was singing jingle bells, says one outraged sign language expert.
So that dope ain't gonna help. Nope.
The woman, identified as Derlin Roberts, has a string of arrests for
He look like he's stacking, bruh.
fraud. So how did she come to be translating at last week's high-profile
He points like you.
police news conference?
I just didn't ask enough questions.
Tampa Police Public Information Officer Steve Hegarty told me the woman simply showed up out of the blue and offered her services.
This is crystal meth music.
Oh my god.
The dopest shit in the woods. This is crystal meth music. Just take a whip if you could. This is crystal meth music. I ain't gon' even lie, know this shit right here's a fact. What it is all you need, that's all you gotta try. And now you hook just like some drugs, you done fell in love. This crystal meth music got 'em fucked up. This shit's addictive, ain't it? Lost for words and can't explain it. I know the feeling, it gets me hot just to hear it. That dirty shit coming straight up out that dirty bitch. That shit, you know, you can't fuck with this. Like a needle in a tweaker, bitch, you stuck with it. Or a smoker on the pipe, southern smoking it. This shit's that pure dope, rehab ain't gon' help, no.
This is that pure dope. Rehab ain't gonna help. Rehab ain't gonna help. Nope.
You gon' be stuck for life, sorry, there's no hope on everything. We going out in the woods. No, this ain't nothing like that Mary Jane. Let yourself go and just do it. This is crystal meth music. The dopest shit in the woods. This is crystal meth music. Yeah, just take a whip if you could. This is crystal meth music. I'm cooking out in the wood, mix it in with what we pushing out. You took the pop and that said, can you feel the fume that speak about your aluminum? Crank it up and get to it. Like shit, put the fuse in you. This a hard thing in them streets. So when you hear banging them beats, make that thing change a new way. Get too high, rock fucked up, make you say, wait for 2 days.
Hey, even tell him that his daddy touched his butthole. Chris Swan.
What the fuck? What the fuck did you just say?
Oh, this is a good day for her, man. You got this case, Patty. You got this case. Brain dead, burnt. What's worse than that?
It's
Even tell him that his daddy touched his butthole.
What?
Chris Swan.
Creek Squad.
happened again. Another sign language interpreter accused of signing total gibberish. This time it was at the police news conference announcing an arrest in the Tampa serial killings.
That's so be Johnny. He just go up there and just start doing some shit. Motherfuckers be like, is he talking about rapping the hood?
Be charging 4 counts of first degree
He's like, we gonna drop these 4 counts.
murder.
Standing off to the
One,
side, apparently translating
2,
every word.
3,
This
4.
woman.
We received over 5,000 tips in this case.
But it
We
turns
received
out much of what
5,000 tips in
she
this
was signing
case.
was
Yeah.
nonsense. She waved her arms
Like she was singing Jingle Bells.
around like she was singing jingle bells, says one outraged sign language expert. The woman, identified as Derlin Roberts, has a string of arrests for fraud. So how did she come to be translating at last
I'm sorry, man, but this dude be making them videos that just makes you laugh.
Hey, folks. Scotcha Man here to bring you the behind the scenes and the making of this incredible, powerful video. Y'all miss me, don't you? Just released recently. But these are real actors doing real stunts. Just wanted to show you the behind the scenes of it. Enjoy. Timmy, wait up. Little boy, let me ride your back. Who are you? Hee. How about this? It's Dag Burn. I'm about to let the dog off the chain. Cut. Huh? Are you serious? My mom knows where I'm at right now. And my dad. What's that got to do with anything? I just want to ride your bike for 1 minute, please. No. It's my bike. Yins want a snack? I got EBT. No, I'm not supposed to take anything from strangers. Good anywhere. Everybody takes EBT in Paintsville. Oh. I know the number to the Paintsville Police Department, and I've got a phone. Who cares if you know the number to the police department? They all know me down there. Call them, say Dagburn's just wanting to borrow your bike for a minute. They'll tell you it's okay. I doubt they will. You're weird. Come on, please. I just want to do a few tricks real quick and put it on YouTube's. No. Come on, man. Help a fella out. Did I tell you I was in foster care? Foster? Oh my God, dude. Doesn't sound true, but you're pathetic enough that I'll let you ride it for just a minute. You will? Oh, sweet. Come on. But don't break it, because you obviously can't buy another one. All right, let's go. They're going to think I'm so cool on YouTube's. Ow, ow, ow. Oh.
Oh, I'm going to hell. Oh my God, I'm going to hell, y'all. I might as well say it, just like when everybody be laughing at me, shit. Oh, I'm going to hell.
Mom? Yeah, some really creepy, smelly guys ride my bike. I told him no. He said he was in foster care.
Now I'm gonna steal it. Ow,
Ow, ow, ow.
Oh my God. This is the dickhead showing our text messages that start off, keep in mind, in fucking April. April. For God's sakes. Yeah, I told you I could have thought that day. It was a great place of stopping at that text message at the end because you straight up were told that I have never once said, "Oh, I should dox that asshole," except for the time that you did what you recently did. I thought about it, said, "No, I'll be better than that." And then I thought I'd only do that if somebody did it to me. And then by fucking God, what do? You do it. You leak out my number and now text messages. Fuck you. I don't give a shit what you think is cool or not. I don't give a fuck. You are a scummy piece of shit for doing what you did.
I'm giving my dad a ride again, and he better get in the car again. For some reason, he always puts his bags in first, and then he gets in. But let's see what he's got in his bag this time. Look at this shit, guys. Wall spray, hot, and more liquor. Why does he drink? Anyways, get ready to get in, guys. Get ready to get back in, and there's not a chance he thinks I'm recording. He doesn't think I record everything. So I'm just gonna put you in right here again, just like last time. All right, you just stay right here. Hey Johnny, I appreciate you all of a sudden wanting to give me rides all the time now. Why are you drinking? Well, because I got a son that walks into the sheriff's department and they say you're a fucking moron. Why they call it? You're what? Who? What? Me? What are they? Who called it? Huh? You? What? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, Dad. So I just can't believe that you don't remember that I was in foster care. I can't remember nothing, Johnny. I'm fucking cold. I got coal dust in my head, Johnny. They let us live in them houses. Do you remember that time that them Ryan Upchurch come down, whip your ass, and you wouldn't even go? Yeah, I remember. And no, I didn't chicken out. I couldn't go by there. There was a restraining order. Restraining order. Yeah, right. John Holbrook's way. You're going to get me onto an all new, Dad. Don't you do it. Don't you do it, Dad. You know what? Your life's in my hands right now, Dad. Let me get this some bitch over 65 and see if that spare tire don't blow out and kill us both. Oh, Johnny, don't do that. Yeah. Well, then watch your tongue. 35 mile an hour probably kill us. Have you seen that tire? I tried to tell you about it last time, Johnny. Do you remember putting your finger in my butt when I was a little kid? You remember doing that at least? You see that house right there? They should have never let us live in it, Johnny. Dad, I'm not talking about the houses and the coal mines. I'm talking about you putting your finger in my butt. Matter of fact, it was 2 of them. Say what? You're going to sit here and tell me you don't remember that? No, I don't remember. You remember that time you sucked dick for crack?
Oh, shit.
Who? No, that house right there. We lived in there. We shouldn't live there either, Dad. That's what I'm saying. That house over there, too. Yeah, we weren't supposed to live in none of them houses, Johnny. So, admittedly, I haven't. I'm. Hey, folks. Checked out a lot of shit from that side of the camp, and I was just like, I was actually saying earlier to my wife, I was like, does that fucking fag bird dude still make videos and carry on and do what he does?
So y'all wanted to know a little bit about my dad and shit, right?
And she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I said, I'm about to go over there and look. And man, I couldn't have checked you out at a better time, fag burn. I mean, so he'll likely delete the video because he doesn't stand on shit that he puts out. But that's fine because my dude Horner House put the video back up, and that's what I'm going to be reacting to. This is going to be a fair use reaction. Under the fair use reaction rule, I am allowed to use clips of this video in order to react to it, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And lawyers on standby, Fagburn. But this fucking dude, for some reason, thinks that people don't believe he was in foster care. He thinks that he feels like he needs to prove this, like he's going in front of an SSI judge to prove he's disabled. Like he is fucking dead set on, y'all don't believe me, I'm disabled. Y'all don't believe me that I was in foster care.
Because Patty called the sheriff's department, and the sheriff's department told Patty that I never was in foster care, so it must not be true.
First of all, why do you think it fucking matters that you? What are you going to prove if you
Exactly.
can't prove that you're on foster care? Number one, I didn't know people.
What's it prove other than people shouldn't have done what they've done to you, regardless if you was in foster care, if you wasn't, nor should you have especially engaged back or done things like to me like you have, maybe.
I didn't know it was a debate.
That's what it proves.
As soon as you say you were in foster care, it's kind of a given, but it doesn't matter. That means that there's a system put in place that if your parents are too fucked up to take care of you, that there's a system to step in. The fuck's that matter? That's like saying I got a grant to go to college. The system stepped in. But anyway, I think here's the reason I think he's trying so hard to prove that he was in foster care, because I think he thinks that if you guys believe he was in foster care, then it's okay to keep that couch warm, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, let's get back to the fun, man. This fucking idiot puts out a video today, and he's like, y'all want to know about my father?
Or y'all wanted to know a little bit about my dad and shit, right?
No, nobody does.
Not really.
And he's like, well, just picked him up and offered to give him a ride back to town.
I'll go father.
Bet he secretly recorded him too. The only time he knows how to secretly record.
Well, I decided to stop and pick him up because he's walking.
And then look, I dug through his bags and look what he went. He walked all the way down to get this.
What's he do?
Oh yeah, Johnny, shame other people in addiction. Such high and mighty behavior there.
Let me show you. He walked to town to get him some fucking liquor.
Oh yeah, my wife did we did snort something up here recently on live. I tried telling her not to, but look at this shit.
Y'all want to know more about my dad, huh? Well, I picked him up walking, and look here, guys. Look what he bought. male enhancement stuff. And oh no, this is a Father's Day card. What? Happy Father's Day, Johnny, from Melinda. Don't want to make you mad, just thought these would help. Damn it. Wrong bag.
That's tough shit, man. You know.
Anyway, there's a bag of liquor down here that my dad bought, and even though I was
That's
in
the types of shit that addicts do, Johnny.
foster care, we give him rides and stuff. We know each other pretty well for a kid who's in foster care.
How long ago was we put in foster care?
So here's the funniest part. Dad gets in the car and he's like, Dad, you remember when I was in foster care? And that shit backfires like Uncle Buck's beater.
Now there's people saying that I was never in foster care, so I figured while Johnny Fish took care of him, did he? Johnny Fish, no, I was in foster care. He said he did.
Fuck.
Damn, Daniel.
He says, remember when I was in foster care? And his dad's like, fuck. His dad's like, I thought so-and-so raised you. So-and-so raised. Hey, bro, stop it. Stop it. So, for real, man, answer this question, Fagburn. Because I know you're going to see this, and I know you're going to try to look through every legal way you could possibly shut it down, and there isn't one. But instead of doing that, instead of hiding and burrowing away and avoiding your fucking problems and people's questions, answer this question. What do you think it would matter? What do you think it would make a fuck? Are you trying to say, let me start this up, it's getting hot in here. Do you think for a second, and this is an honest question, that might be too loud. Do you think the people who've been in foster care, that it affects them in some way that they can't progress in life, that it hinders them in some way? Are you trying to say that if you're in foster care, then that means that you have an excuse for the rest of your life, that you can't be successful in any way? Because, hey, I was in foster care. Even though my dad don't remember for some reason. I was in foster care, guys. And then you have the nerve to say at the end of it that we, meaning them, but you have the nerve to say that these people out there are only bringing up your foster care situation to put these thoughts back in your mind, to fuck with you in some weird fucking way.
Y'all bring up shit like this, man, to torment somebody. Try to get somebody to react. Make them have to go through the thoughts of things like this.
Dude, you realize you're the one that brought up that you were in foster care. You're the one that made a whole live video talking about, this is my life story, y'all. I was in foster care and my daddy touched me. Speaking of, fuck, that was a question. That was a fucking burner that you put to your dad too, wasn't it?
What was you charged with? Child support? No. He was charged for molesting kids.
Who the fuck? Oh my God. But listen, Daddy had no memory of it. You said, what was you arrested for, Dad? You said, remember you was arrested for touching us kids? Listen, and I'm not trying to say that you're not a badass. I'm not going to say you're a liar, I guess what everybody else is trying to say, because you make it sound like people saying you never was in foster care. But I'm going to tell you something right now. If some old frail, drunk, fucking hillbilly that touched me as a child got in the passenger seat, I wouldn't be playing fucking hidden camera detective with them. I'd be fucking punching them square in the mouth. They would have never got in my car. So, did Daddy touch you, or are you just trying to get him to say something to get you a little bit extra ad revenue this month? I don't know, man. It's pathetic. But it's crazy that I can fucking not look at this dude's page for that long, go back and strike gold immediately. As soon as I clicked on it, it was a video of him like, y'all, I'm picking up my dad walking.
And then I look again, and he's like, he made a video last night about Ryan dating Brianna, and he's like, struggle, why? Why struggle? Why? Don't you know what kind of guy Ryan is? Do you know, honestly? And I don't know. It's fucking weird, bro. You have to admit at this point in this whole situation that you're weird as fuck, and just getting weirder. But you should have drove the daddy touch me questions home, because that fucking foster care shit backfired hardcore.
You don't remember us being in foster care? You don't remember us being in foster care?
Hey man, peace out, Fagburn. I believe you're in foster care. I believe you're a piece of shit, bro. Okay? I believe you, bro. I believe you.
Y'all try to push me over the edge is what y'all try to do.
For homicide detectives, the clock starts ticking the moment they are called.
Nothing better to do than robbing people and killing them.
Policia, policia.
Oh, this feels good.
Their chance of solving a murder is cut in half.
You're not even halfway done with one murder, and another one just came in.
If they don't get a lead.
He's got no problem saying, yeah, I killed him.
Within the first 48 hours.
They want to see us coming real quick.
Step back up.
Miami, Florida, 11 p.m. As a storm moves in, shots ring out from a little Haiti cafe. When police arrive, they find a customer dead.
One of those days. 2 days ago, we had a murder just 1 block away. Always keep an extra tie. If nothing else, look like you know what you're doing.
Detective Irvins Ford has been with Miami Homicide for over 7 years.
Windy night in Magic City. Unfortunately, someone had to die for us to be out here.
The victim has already been identified. Jose Castro is the name of the victim.
44-year-old Jose Castro, an immigrant from El Salvador, worked in Miami as a landscaper. He lived with his wife and their 12-year-old son.
Another life for nothing. Gone.
Sergeant Eunice Cooper will supervise the investigation.
No video, huh?
No.
Can we tell where the gunshot wound is? Head wound.
The victim has been shot twice in the body and once in the head.
You got a casing over here. They look like nines.
He had to be shooting all over the place.
Yeah.
This end up there and that ends up there.
He had to be shooting pretty wildly.
Two hours in, the team gets a break.
We had a witness on the avenue here saw 4 guys who got a case in the place.
How you doing? Detective Ford. But you was just hanging out for a minute?
I was taking you for a walk. And I see 4 guys walking behind me. And they would start walking towards the school. 3 seconds later, you just heard gunshots just going. I see all of them running.
Could you describe anything specific about them?
Tell her that he was a school kid. And they young.
School's just letting out for the summer. Unfortunately, these kids may not have nothing better to do than going around robbing people and killing them. I'm hoping that's not the case, but let's talk to the witness.
Ford heads back to Homicide to interview the cafe's owner. He was with the victim, Jose Castro, moments before the shooting.
I got there like around 9:30 because we closed at 10 o'clock.
Right.
He was there eating.
He tells Ford that as he was about to close, 4 teenagers walked in.
Told him twice it's closed. Exactly when I say that, they took the gun up. They said, "Give me all the money." And I was like, with my hands up.
Okay.
But the victim took a bottle.
All right.
And he was going to throw it. And the guy shot him. After they shot him, they ran out.
Did they take anything?
They didn't take nothing because they didn't get to go all the way to the register. Everything happened by the entrance.
Ford calls Sergeant Cooper back at the crime scene.
Hello?
It's looking like a robbery that went bad. The victim picked up a bottle and threw it at the robbers. And they shot him in the process and ran out in a hurry.
And they pushed the door from the inside. Okay. All right, bye-bye. I know you're moving fast, baby, but the rain's dropping.
I'm about to process the door right now.
Raindrops are falling on my head, Ken.
Close the door because it's starting to get wet.
CSI turns to the door, hoping to find a usable print.
There it is, baby. Let's go.
They find several recent prints on the door.
These prints are extremely good. You can still see oily matters, sweat on the palm. And once I lift them, they'll be turned into our Layton's section.
Then, as the team wraps up the crime scene,
That one has a video.
Okay.
a patrol officer notices surveillance cameras above a nearby convenience store.
Gonna hit that as soon as they open in the morning. They had so many murders, we're breaking the board already. The rate we're going now, it's only gonna get up.
Crazy. But now we got the summer months.
Yeah.
Detective Rick Martinez will assist the team on the investigation. Martinez calls the victim's brother to notify him of the murder.
Le habla el detective Martínez, de la policía de Miami. Sí, señor, desgraciadamente sí. Que estaba fuera.
The brother tells Martinez the victim's wife left town that night with her son to go to a wedding.
No, gracias, caballero, perdona. Sí, señor. The family knows, the only one that doesn't know is his wife.
This poor guy, his wife went out of town to do something with his kid, and now she's got to come back to his funeral. It's bad all around.
Ford and Martinez head out to check the surveillance system at the convenience store near the crime scene.
There's the surveillance right there. There's that one right there. It's gonna pay up.
Keep our fingers crossed.
How you doing, sir? Can I speak with you? Sure. Okay. I don't know if you know somebody got killed right down the street.
Yeah, you told me earlier today. Yeah.
The surveillance from last night.
You wanna see it?
Yeah.
We don't have support. We don't have tapes.
None of the video has been recorded.
Not even on computer.
Not even computer, no. It's not hooked to the computer.
It would behoove you and your employees for us to catch this guy as quickly as possible because your store stays open 24/7. Unfortunately, that makes you a target. You have no idea how disappointed I am right now.
Back at homicide, latent print examiner Rupert Butcher gets started on fingerprints from the crime scene.
There's a lot of overlapping palm prints and fingerprint impression. And there's a lot of smudges on some of these cards. It's gonna take some time to evaluate all of these cards.
The next morning, Ford gets a tip.
Homicide, Ford.
According to the caller, a teenager named Woodney Lemonor was involved in the robbery. He was shot the night of the murder and taken to the hospital by a woman friend.
This caller is saying that apparently a few hours after the murder, this kid Woodney shows up to the hospital with a gunshot wound.
Really?
We do have the shooter inside the restaurant shooting wildly. It's very possible this kid may have been caught in the crossfire.
Ford pulls up photos for Woodney Lemonor.
He's only 16 years old. He's a kid. He doesn't have any felony past, just some incident at school. But he may have been involved in the shooting, therefore he could be dangerous.
Along with units from Miami-Dade police, the team heads out to Woodney's last known address.
They're gonna see us coming real quick.
Keep going, keep going. Bring the kids out, bring the kids out, bring the kids out.
In Miami, Detective Irvin Ford is investigating the murder of Jose Castro, shot during a robbery. An anonymous caller told detectives a teenager named Woodney Lemonor was involved in the shooting. Now, the team is closing in on Woodney's home.
Wait a minute. Step back out. Step back out. Don't do it. Get out. Keep your hands where I can see them. Oh, sorry. Keep your hands where I can see them. What's your name?
Ford finds the woman who drove Woodney to the hospital staying at the house.
We need to talk to you.
The team takes the woman down to homicide. Ford questions another woman who lives at the house.
We're looking for Woody now.
Woodney don't live here.
Okay. But he does use this address. That's why we're here, okay?
No, I did not realize that.
Ford and the team head out for a second address for Woodney.
We're gonna go try the second address for Woody. Hey, how you doing? You speak English? A little bit. Where's Woody? You? Yeah. I'm talking to the doctor. We need to talk to you, Whitney.
What you doing?
He's 16, right? You gotta come with us too. Fine. Take him to the festival. Ford.
Ford gets a call from headquarters.
Hey, Leo, what's up, buddy?
Fingerprints from the crime scene have come back to 2 names.
Ooh, this feels good. Hold on. Let me get the names. What's the names? Milton, Major. And what's the other one? Okay. Richard Jackson. Bye. This is great news. Thank God for fingerprints.
With Woodney in custody, Ford searches the database for his 2 new suspects, Milton Major and Richard Jackson.
Yes, sir. Hi, Mr. Jackson. Nice to meet you. He's 18 years old. Hello, Milton. Nice to meet you, too. He's only 17.
Neither Richard nor Milton have criminal records. Ford goes to interview Woodney.
He's nervous. He's real nervous.
Because he is 16, a juvenile counselor sits in.
I've never known Richard. We went to school. What about Milton? We went to the same school. You guys hang out together?
Woodney admits to knowing Milton Major and Richard Jackson.
You understand what we do here, right? What's up? We investigate homicide cases. Okay. I've already checked your background. You ain't been involved in nothing like this before. Now is it your opportunity to just tell us what happened? I don't know what you're talking about. I really don't. Let me see gunshot. You were lucky. We could have easily found you in that restaurant. How you playing? Huh? I was at the park. You been practicing saying that? No, sir.
Woodney claims he was playing basketball when he was suddenly hit with a stray bullet.
You're 16, man. Before you was born, I was doing that. Do you understand the seriousness of this? Somebody was killed. You're gonna be tried as an adult. You look at that first-degree murder, armed robbery. You may never ever go home. Come on, protect these boys. They're already going down. Your friends that went into the restaurant with you? Richard, Milton. Left their fingerprints behind. Come on, Woody. There's gotta be something in their ticket going. Damn. You know what? They got me. How long are they got? Okay.
While the team keeps Woodney in custody, Ford goes to speak with the woman who drove him to the hospital. He needs her to tell him how Woodney was shot.
I need to get this across to you. We know a lot more than you think we know. Taking somebody to the hospital is assisting them after they don't kill somebody. Technically, you can be charged. It's called accessory after the fact. Don't try to cover for Willie. We don't want to see you go to jail. Tell us what Willie did.
Oh, this is up. Lucky, he called me and he said, come pick me up because he got shot.
The woman tells Ford that she drove Whitney to the hospital.
And I was like, oh, what's going on with me? And he says, me and some friends, they went to, I guess, Rob's store. And one of the men, they say, threw a bottle.
Whitney told her that the victim threw a bottle at the shooter.
And Woody said his friend, I guess, shot the man. That's how Woody got shot.
Whitney told her that he was grazed with a bullet fired by one of his friends during the shooting at the cafe.
I say, Woody, who's with you? He said it was Richard Milton and Braxton. Braxton Sam.
She gives Ford the name of the fourth suspect, Braxton Sams. She also confirms that Richard Jackson and Milton Major were at the crime scene.
Who shot?
I don't know.
Things are looking better and really picking up. That's a good thing.
Ford looks up records on Braxton.
Braxton Eugene Sams.
This guy look rough for 20 years old.
With 11 hours left in the first 48, the team brings in employees from the cafe to ID the suspects.
Okay, hello.
They positively ID Whitney and the other three men.
One golden.
With Whitney in custody, police head to the addresses for Richard, Milton, and Braxton.
We gonna need to find these other guys before they leave town. I imagine by now they know we're looking for them. So every minute it's gonna count. We need to get everyone in here to find out which one of them pulled the trigger.
As the search gets underway, a call comes in from dispatch.
What you got on this channel?
Receiver 332 at the Mel shot.
Across town, another man has been gunned down. In Miami, Detective Irvins Ford is investigating the shooting death of Jose Castro, gunned down in a robbery. A woman told Ford Whitney Lemonor was involved in the shooting with three other suspects, Milton, Richard, and Braxton. Patrol was dispatched to find the suspects. Now, Ford and the team wait for news.
What you got on this channel?
2125 Northwest 8th Avenue. Receiver 332 at the Mel shot.
The team has been assigned a second, unrelated homicide.
You're not even halfway done with one, another one just came in. Yes, sir, we en route. That put everything else on hold. The 1,000,001 things to do on my murder. Unfortunately, another murder just came in. We have to respond out there. Only in Miami.
While patrol searches for the three suspects in the first case, Ford and the team head out to their second crime scene.
It's hard when you have overlapping cases. You've got to try to devote equal time because every life is important. And you don't want to take away time from the murder that you're working because every minute that passes by, less chance of solving the murder. Time just doesn't stop for you.
Detective Rick Martinez will be the lead on the second case.
Looks like he shot once in the heart. He walked a few feet and collapsed.
The victim is 40-year-old Robert Cruz, a Cuban American. He recently opened a wholesale fruit business. Martinez goes to speak with someone who saw the shooting. The witness tells Martinez that he knows the alleged shooter, Alejandro Duenas, also known as Alex.
He's been to Alex's house several times with the owner. And Alex is the shooter. And there's a child in the car.
According to the witness, there was a small child with the shooter.
Well, it happens quite often, unfortunately. We're in the middle of making excellent progress on one case, and this is going to take us out of our game plan.
Across town in Little Haiti, patrol searches for the 3 remaining suspects in the cafe murder. As the team wraps up the second crime scene, victim Robert Cruz's family arrives.
My brother, so he's dead.
Yes, he is.
We need to know what the background is because that opens up doors.
I believe Robert, my brother, probably owed the guys money, and they came to collect.
With the first 48 winding down on the cafe murder, the team heads out to the address for Alejandro Duenas.
This may be what we call a smoker. You have the identity of your suspect right away. But we're in the middle of this other murder and time is fading away and we're worried that these guys are just going to flee the area and we lose them.
Policía, quédate el piso.
Quédate el piso.
Queda bien. Desde aquí 3 años.
El niño, tú no. ¿Qué edad tiene el niño?
3 años.
3 años.
Vale. Papi, oye, ¿cómo vas a ayudar? A ver, ¿qué llamas?
The child in the house was allegedly with Alejandro when the shooting occurred.
The baby's in there petrified. Scared. He's got the covers tied over his little head. Hey, Sid, go ahead and take him to the car. I don't want the baby to see him. Don't touch the car, okay?
Alejandro, ¿dónde están los zapatos del niño?
Venga, vamos a ver. That poor kid.
Someone says, please don't kill my dad.
Oh my God. How did you do something like that in front
This shit you see in this job. A ver, Daddy, ¿está bien?
Sí, mi vida, no te preocupes. Y acuérdate siempre los mejores ejemplos para él y su papá siempre. No, yo no creo en su papá siempre. Yo te amo mucho.
With less than 3 hours left in the hunt for the suspects in the cafe murder case, Detective Ford gets a break.
You got Braxton? Okay, great. Bring him in. They found Braxton at his house. They're on their way to the office with him now. And we still have the other 2 guys out there on the cafe case. Hopefully Braxton will be able to tell us where to find these other 2 guys. We need to get going interviewing Alejandro on what he did. I'm going to be going home anytime soon.
Vamos a hablar. No me quiere decir lo que pasó, porque sabemos por qué estamos aquí.
Sí, yo sé. El sábado, Roberto se presenta en la casa. Me dice, "Guárdame eso".
Alejandro says the victim asked him to keep a bag for him. He later called, claiming there was $200 in the bag.
Me dice, tráeme lo que yo te dejé ahí y el dinero. ¿Tú te acuerdas que tú me dijiste que los $200?
According to Alejandro, the money wasn't there, so he went to meet the victim at his warehouse.
La forma de su comportamiento.
Nada normal.
Los ojos dorados y amenazados.
Alejandro claims they started fighting. The victim pulled a gun.
Si la pone un arma y le fui para arriba. Se disparó el arma. Cargo con bote. Cargo con cualquier culpa. Y si a ese man se lo tengo que volver a hacer, se lo hago porque es un fresco, un falso. Y de todo esto, lo único que me voy es ver como la policía llegó y estaba el niño ahí. No, eso, mira, todo lo que me duele de esto.
What do you say, Rick? He's got no problem saying, yeah, I killed him and I'd kill him again if I had a chance. So obviously there's no remorse about killing him. He's claiming self-defense, but I don't think that's what it was. It's just guys arguing over money, and one of them won and one of them lost. You know, over just a brief moment of poor judgment. There goes his life.
With less than 2 hours left in the first 48, patrol arrives at homicide with Braxton Sams, the second suspect in the cafe murder of Jose Castro. Ford and the team need Braxton to tell them what he knows about the murder.
I'm tired of talking about it. Braxton, I need for you to tell me where you were this past Thursday night.
I went to my school on Thursday. I stayed at school out like 9 o'clock. On the bus home.
That's the truth. No, it's not. Come on, man. Be a man. I'm not in the mood for it, Braxton. We've been running around all day. Somebody done lost their life. And you know what the hell I'm talking about.
In Miami, Detective Irvins Ford and the team are investigating the homicide of Jose Castro, gunned down during a robbery. Patrol found the second suspect, Braxton Sams, at his home and took him into custody. Now, Ford and Martinez need to get Braxton to talk.
Y'all killed somebody. What you think this is?
I ain't kill nobody.
Try telling us the truth.
I'm telling the truth.
What have you been arrested for?
Fine.
That's it? Like what? What kind?
In school.
In school. You think this is the principal's office? And you're gonna get a pat on the hand and go? You think that you're gonna feel sorry for you? They wanna see this poor man, hard-working man, eating at a restaurant. A couple of clowns come in, killed them. Trying to get a few dollars.
And that poor guy's 12-year-old son isn't gonna see his daddy.
I'm done. I did my job. I'm gonna write your arrest form. he thinks that this is suspension in school or something like that. He really has no remorse for what happened. Ford.
Then the case takes a turn.
Uh-huh. Okay. Bring him up. Bring him up. All right. Apparently, while Whitney was being transported to the juvenile hall, he decided to tell the officer he wants to come back here and tell us something. Hopefully, it's the truth this time.
An hour later, Woodney arrives back in homicide.
Hey, Baxter. What's up, man?
Like placing him in the backseat of the police car, the guy's knees just completely buckled. I mean, reality set in.
He thought that he really wasn't going to jail. He's been sitting there thinking, oh, what's going on? I'm just sitting here waiting.
Explained to him that he was being charged with first-degree murder as well as armed robbery. He honestly looked like he was going to faint.
In the first 48, Detective Irvins Ford responded to the murder of Jose Castro, allegedly gunned down by 4 teenagers during a robbery at a cafe. Detectives arrested Woodney Lemonor, who denied involvement in the murder. The investigation was interrupted when the team got a second case, the murder of Robert Cruz. A witness identified Cruz's alleged killer as Alejandro Duenes, who admitted to the shooting. Then, detectives questioned Braxton Sams about the cafe murder, but he denied any involvement. Finally, their first suspect, Woodney, decided to talk to police about the murder.
What do you want to tell us, Whitney?
We Richard and Braxton and Milton, they all went to the restaurant. Yeah, they just pulled out the pistol. And everything just happened.
Who pulled out the pistol?
Richard.
Richard?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Bad everything happened. Man getting shot and killed.
Whitney, you're the littlest man in this whole group, and you had the most sense to be a man. So we respect you as a man. Okay? The child in this case was the only one that had the sense to be a man and take responsibility for their actions.
The team dispatches patrol to look for Milton Major and Richard Jackson.
We're about to look for 2 offenders. This is part of the job I love. I like investigating, but I love to hunt.
13-year police veteran Leo Tapanez will assist Ford on the investigation.
Milton Major and Richard Jackson. This guy is supposed to be a shooter.
Tapanez and uniform units head out to look for their suspects.
Identify the kid and we're moving in.
Come on out. Hold the point. Who else is in the house? Go outside.
Tapanez searches the house for Major and Jackson. In Miami, Detective Irvins Ford and the team are investigating the murder of Jose Castro, gunned down during a cafe robbery. Suspected accomplice Woodney Lemonor told police that the alleged shooter was his friend, Richard Jackson. Now, the team is searching for their last 2 suspects, Milton Major and Richard Jackson.
Still checking. People checking me out.
The suspects are not there.
We got none of these we're looking for.
We're just gonna keep coming back every few hours. She's not gonna get any sleep. It's not personal, but we gotta do what we gotta do.
Your son, Milton, has been positively identified. It's taking place in a robbery, which ended up in the death of an individual. Okay, we're going to continue coming back. The way to avoid that, turn him in.
Let them know that it was definitely game on. So it's a question of, do they want to be constantly woken up in the middle of the night with guys with black pajamas and guns, or are they going to assist us?
Back at Homicide, the team waits to hear from Milton Major's mother.
That's her son.
Oh man, that boy's gonna be in the wind.
Do you think so? She's gonna get him out of here?
Absolutely, as fast as she can.
They know what they did, and they're gonna take steps to hide from us. Homicide, Ford.
The pressure pays off. Ford gets a call from Milton Major's mother. She tells Ford she'll turn in Milton and Richard.
All right, thanks. Bye. This is great news. It's now 4:20 in the morning. We've been working on this for about 15 hours straight. We all understand this is not a 9-to-5 job. If it requires for us to stay here till 5, 6 in the morning sometime, that's what we got to do to solve the murders.
Man, it's been a long week.
Come here, Dad.
Seems like we've been going home 5, 6, 7 o'clock every morning.
Now I remember when my wife don't like me no more.
Three days later, Milton Major and Richard Jackson arrive at Homicide.
They always late. They probably went by relatives and friends' house, say their goodbyes. If I knew I'm going to be going away for 15, 20, 30 years, if I had 6 hours, what would I do with these last 6 hours? Hug my kids for about an hour and a half, then have a strong drink. Because you're not going to get any alcohol in prison. A strong gin and grapefruit. They invoked their rights already. They went out and hired an attorney. But the good thing is we have great evidence against them. These two here, their fingerprints were found on the scene. This is going to be our suspected shooter, Richard Jackson. Let me ask y'all this. You going to allow them to speak? Or no statement?
Neither of the suspects are willing to talk.
This is unfortunate we all had to meet like this. Yeah, but the most important thing is the family continue to support them. They may act like they know everything, but once the reality of sitting in a jail cell, and if you guys don't come visit them on a regular basis, it's going to be rough for them. The reality haven't hit them yet. They don't appear to be distraught in any way. I don't know. My first impression is they decent little young boys. Could have been my boys. Don't know what they were thinking on this particular night. We have these 4 kids. You don't want to feel sorry for them because of what they did, but at the same time, in back, you got to consider what led to this. How did it happen? Why did it happen?
There's a lot of people affected by this one act.
Right.
For homicide detectives, the clock starts ticking the moment they are called.
I think we're waiting on him so they can rob him.
Looks a little nervous.
Their chance of solving a murder is cut in half
I don't know what happened, dude. I didn't do anything, man.
if they don't get a lead
Flat out mystery.
within the first 48 hours.
You need to sit here and convince me that if I ever had the chance to do it over again, I would do something different.
Memphis, Tennessee, 7:41 p.m. A quiet street in the Magnolia neighborhood.
Fire department, what is the emergency? It's a man that's at the street. He was laying on the side of the house.
Police rush to the scene and find the man dead. Sergeant Terry Max, a 19-year veteran of the Memphis Police Department, will lead the investigation.
Right, y'all ready? The victim is a Maurice Piggies. Born in September of 1928.
From neighbors on the scene, detectives identify the victim as Maurice Piggies. A Magnolia resident for over 40 years, he was one day away from his 79th birthday.
Where is he here? Look like he maybe have a single gunshot going to the torso.
Detectives find a window at the back of the house that appears to have been pried open.
He got bolts on all his other windows. So they had pulled that board off.
It's like the man got in because the bed's messed up.
Sergeant Max searches for evidence inside the victim's house.
Say we're gonna duct tape his mouth up. There's an extension cord.
They were probably gonna have him.
Mm-hmm. I think they're waiting on him so they can rob him.
As the team wraps up the crime scene, the victim's relatives arrive.
Why would they do him like that?
I don't have a clue, ma'am. That's what we're trying to figure out right
Nice
now. Okay?
man. My uncle was a church-going man,
He's tried to help anybody he could. I've never known him to have any kind of confrontations with anybody.
This guy over here said he's known him for 35, 40 years. Then he'd come out on the front porch every morning and say, well, God got us up again one more day.
Somebody will turn him in. Oh, this is an old man, 79 years old. Even the cold, callous people that usually won't tell you squat, I'll have a heart and tell you something like that.
What's up? 3 hours in, Max gets a break.
Who told her he was involved?
An anonymous tipster says that two men from the neighborhood, Deveron Taylor and Alvin Gordon, may have been involved in the murder.
All right, thanks, Bo.
I think we're going to get this one. Yeah.
See if we can find something, man.
Max searches the database for information on Deveron Taylor and Alvin Gordon.
Ooh, there's Deveron Taylor. He's 17, had several juvenile arrests. And this is Alvin Gordon. He's 18. All we now just get our hands on him.
I'm just trying to make sense of all this.
Sergeant Caroline Mason, a 4-year homicide veteran, will work the investigation.
You know, I grew up right in the neighborhood called Magnolia. You know, I went to school with Alvin's father. And I also knew this victim, Mr. Piggies. His grandson and I went to kindergarten together.
Homicide.
Then, Max gets a break. A call comes in from suspect Deveron Taylor's mother.
Thanks, Miss Taylor. Bye. Bingo. She said that she's been hearing her son's involved in this. She's going to bring him down here so we can talk.
The next morning, Deveron and his mother arrive at homicide.
Everything for you changed today.
No, you don't have no, you don't have no business in him. You don't see nothing shoes up in him. You doesn't talk to me.
Don't worry, this kid's gonna shut down before we even get started, Greg. Let's see if I can make some kind of connection with him. He'll talk to me.
Lieutenant Tony Armstrong decides to talk to Deveron and his mother behind closed doors.
I wasn't even there. That's the first thing. I wasn't.
450 miles away, the outskirts of Dallas, Texas. Police, following up on a report of a woman gone missing, search the field where she was last seen. Hours later, they find the woman's body.
We know who she is. Missing person's been working on her.
Detective Bob Ermatinger, a 14-year homicide veteran, will lead the case.
She's still wearing all her jewelry, and her clothes are still on.
The victim is 35-year-old Melissa LeSueur, a lifetime Dallas resident.
She was out here picking wildflowers, and then she was gone. The missing persons detective said this is the last place she was seen, so he came back and found her.
There's blood around her neck.
She has been shot once in the head and once in the chest.
This is a Nokia.
It's a Nokia.
The team fans out to search the area for evidence.
We're walking here.
But comes up with nothing. Three hours in, the victim's friend who made the missing persons report arrives on the scene.
I'll have her follow us downtown, get a detailed story from her. I want to find out exactly what happened.
She was going to buy meth from somebody before she came out there.
The victim's friend, Elaine, says that she and Melissa met at the field to pick wildflowers and smoke crystal meth.
Okay.
We were there together for a while. Then I left to get bed spray. It was gone 15, 20 max. Came back and she was gone. And the car was gone. It's so unlike her to not call. She knew I would freak out.
Who do you think would do that to her?
Now there's a guy that she knew. His name is Brian, and I think it may be Hunter.
She says Hunter is an ex-boyfriend of the victim.
She said he was just crazy.
Brian Hunter. Well, not much of a criminal history. Possession of a controlled substance. And then he's got charges pending on a criminal mischief. Suspect punctured complainant's tire.
Brian Hunter allegedly slashed Melissa's tires 5 days before he was killed.
We need to talk to this guy.
The deployment team heads out to the last known addresses of Brian Hunter. But he's nowhere to be found. The next morning, Ermatinger meets with Melissa's family.
I know she plays in the drug area a little bit, okay?
I was aware of that.
The family says they talked with Melissa about getting help for her crystal meth addiction.
I knew that she had gotten into a bad crowd. You can't protect your kids their whole life. She thought all people were good. And I couldn't tell her. I tried to. She thinks I'm cynical.
Sorry to meet you under these circumstances. Okay. Very sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we're right now.
Halfway through the first 48, Ermatinger gets a break.
I just received a call from a lady. She was out there last night. She said, I saw who did this. And I saw the car they left in.
In Dallas, Detective Bob Ermatinger and his team are working the murder of 35-year-old Melissa LeSueur, found shot to death in a field of wildflowers. An eyewitness has just come forward.
She said, I saw who did this. I saw the car they left in.
With 20 hours left in the first 48, the eyewitness arrives at homicide.
I started out my normal routine, walking 2 miles, and next thing I heard was pow.
The witness says that while walking the track near the crime scene, she heard 2 gunshots. Then she saw the shooter get into Melissa's car and drive away.
What did he look like to you?
You know, it was kind of like a distance away I didn't know that he was a white male.
Unfortunately, our witness couldn't positively ID our suspect, Brian Hunter, but she couldn't eliminate him either. Right now, with the complaint's car is our strongest lead. We need to find that car.
Patrol units comb the city for the victim's car. The next morning, with 3 hours left in the first 48, police locate the victim's car, left abandoned on a street.
Hopefully, we find some physical evidence that will match the killer to the car.
Right here.
Keep my fingers crossed.
In the first 48, Dallas detective Bob Ermatinger was called to investigate the murder of 35-year-old Melissa LeSueur, shot dead while picking wildflowers. Detectives learned that a white male fled the scene in the victim's car and that an ex-boyfriend named Brian Hunter recently slashed her tires. The deployment team checked Brian Hunter's addresses, but couldn't find him. Then, 3 hours left, police located the victim's car and lifted usable fingerprints from the interior. Two days later, Ermatinger gets the fingerprint results back from the victim's truck.
James Malloy, M-A-L-O-Y.
I just know that he was a white male.
Doesn't look like this guy's going to be our suspect, but that doesn't mean he doesn't know who our suspect is. It appears that he's homeless, so our best chance is to pick him up on another charge.
"12 days later, the deployment team finally locates the ex-boyfriend of the victim, Brian Hunter, at his father's house outside the city.
Looks a little nervous. Oh, yeah. Again, I guess I would be. Here to talk to you about Melissa. Well, she's passed away.
Oh my God.
Tell me about yours and Melissa relationship.
I just wanted to be friends.
She wanted a relationship, you didn't?
Yeah. She just puts me in that psychotic state.
Right. Well, what do you think happened to her?
I don't know.
Well, some people think that you did it.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that some people would think that. But no, I mean, I didn't do it.
You know, I've got some other information.
I made a bad decision. I did slip a couple of tires.
Brian admits that 5 days before the homicide, he and Melissa had an argument. Afterwards, he slashed the tires on her car.
Thing is, Brian, if you did make a mistake, okay, now's the time to say what the reason was.
I meant to slash in some tires, but I didn't kill her. She was smoking meth in front of me. I was angry because she wasn't sharing it. My dad, he'll testify that I've been at his house.
Just sit tight then, okay?
guy is not reacting to anything. His blood pressure didn't go up. He may not be the guy.
It's a little disappointing. Without any hard evidence, we're gonna have to let him go.
Ermatinger returns to the only lead he has left, the man whose fingerprints were found on the victim's truck, James Malloy.
He's not our suspect at this time, but since we found his fingerprints in the car, he may have some information for us. But right now, we're having a little trouble finding him.
4 weeks later, police bring in James Malloy.
A hard man to track down. They finally got him on an unrelated charge. He was at the jail telling people down there that he was in the dead girl's truck. Now we need to explain why he was in the dead girl's truck. Do you remember when this all happened?
Malloy says that shortly after the homicide, a white male approached him, offering Melissa's truck for drugs.
Okay, a white guy. Did he say any specifics about it or anything?
Excuse me, up.
The Memphis homicide team is working the murder of 78-year-old Release Piggies, shot dead outside his home. A tipster gave investigators the names of two suspects, Devron Taylor and Alvin Gordon. Now, Lieutenant Tony Armstrong has Devron in his office, trying to get him to talk.
He finally came up off. Yesterday, him and Alvin went over to the man's house, took the bars off. The one, both of them not in there. He said he was in there by 2 hours. But while they were there, the man backed up in his driveway. He came to look in the window. He said, by that time, Alvin called us and said, man, move. Bam. The old man fall down on his knee. Started breathing hard.
He's been 79.
The team heads out to find the other suspect, Alvin Gordon.
Mr. Piggies was Mr. Piggies in the neighborhood when I grew up. He watched me grow up, and he watched these kids grow up. And now this new generation of kids take his life. It's Sergeant Mason.
Sergeant Caroline Mason gets a tip. A man from the neighborhood calls in with information about Alvin's location.
Come on. The community wants to solve this just as much as we do.
Detectives arrive at Alvin's location.
About 3 minutes late.
They've just missed him.
So the chase is on. Once you start turning the heat up on them, that's what makes them say, hey. Boys! Hello?
Mason gets a call from headquarters.
We're en route. We'll turn them in.
Alvin's family has convinced him to turn himself in.
We need more than Devron's confession that Alvin was involved. We need to get Alvin's statement.
Okay, Alvin. I don't know you, but I know your dad. You're a good friend of mine. We grew up together.
Let's talk about Tuesday.
In Memphis, homicide investigators are working the murder of 78-year-old Maurice Piggies, shot dead outside his home. One suspect, Devron Taylor, admitted to being at the scene and named Alvin Gordon as the alleged shooter. Now, the team needs to get Alvin to talk.
What'd you do Tuesday?
Came alive. We sit on the pool for a while, kids.
Okay.
And probably hours when he left.
You didn't go with him?
I don't know if I could have.
Alvin says that during the time of the murder, he was at his cousin Calvin Jr.'s house playing video games.
Alvin, Devron told us the whole thing, son. He identified you, son. He identified you. Guess who pulled the trigger? He said the Jew. I don't know what these kids in your generation are thinking. This ain't no video game, son. You don't get another life.
Alvin sticks to his story.
All right, we'll be right back.
I really don't think it's sunk in his head just how much trouble he's in. See if I can shine a little light on this situation.
Turn around.
I need you to tell me, is Devron telling me the truth? That you the killer and he was just along for the ride?
When he went there, man.
That's bullshit. It ain't true. You better have your own best interest at heart. You need to sit here and convince me if I ever had the chance to do it over again, I would do something different. But I would never would have did that to nobody like that, especially an 80-something-year-old man.
Sorry about what happened to him, but I ain't do it. I go to my cousin house.
What is he doing in there?
He trying to bite into that cord that's plugged into the wall.
I think he tried to electrocute yourself.
In Dallas, Detective Bob Ermatinger is investigating the murder of Melissa LeSueur, found dead in a field of wildflowers. A witness said she saw a white male leaving the scene the day of the murder. Now, detectives are interviewing James Malloy, who says he got Melissa's truck from a man who could be their suspect.
All right.
No, if I saw a picture of him, I'd find him.
He describes it as white male, strawberry blonde hair, 5'8", 5'9", and he goes a thick mustache. It's gonna be somebody probably that she knows. She's running in a drug circle. I got some phone numbers here. You want to see if any of them hook up?
The team turns to the victim's cell phone records, trying to dig up names of men who might match Malloy's description of the suspect.
These numbers here are right before the murder. I don't know who these numbers are. Let me play with them. Now, we've been looking at Brian Hunter, but the person that gave James the truck is short. Hunter's 6'4". So.
Yeah. She calls a motel at 428. Within about 90 minutes of being killed.
She receives a call from a house in Garland.
Detective John Palmer finds someone who made several calls to Melissa in the hours leading up to the murder.
Stephen S. Rigdon.
He matches the description given by James Malloy.
Not much of a record, just one charge for forgery.
Palmer puts together a lineup.
Hey, I've got some pictures here, the guys that we got.
Right here.
Malloy identifies Stephen Rigdon.
That's good news.
The deployment team picks up Stephen Rigdon and brings him down to homicide. Assisting Ermatinger on the interview is veteran homicide detective P.E. Jones.
You got a drug problem.
Yes, sir.
A little crack.
A little bit, yes.
You know a girl named Melissa?
My son does, I don't.
Rigdon says Melissa was a friend of his son's.
Got a problem, Steve. Melissa's dead.
Right near the time she died, I got people putting you in your truck.
Maybe you decided to use the truck to go buy some crack.
I wasn't in her truck.
Do you understand that potentially you're gonna be filed on for murder?
I'm just ready to go home. Maybe my son's been in the car.
Did he bring that car to your house? Stephen, we need to know that.
In the Dallas murder investigation of Melissa LeSueur, Detective Bob Ermatinger and his team located Stephen Rigdon, who allegedly had the victim's truck after the murder. Now, they need to find out what he knows about Melissa's death.
Maybe my son's been in the car.
I felt like he was pretty close to rolling over on his son. I think I'd just like to go in there and just talk to him a little bit.
He's about to tell you.
You know, Stephen, I know as a parent that what you want to do is you want to protect your son. And I'm talking to you dad to dad. I want you to tell me the truth here. What happened?
She brought the truck to me. Tossed me the keys and here, get rid of it.
Stephen says that shortly after the homicide, his son Jeff came home and asked him to get rid of Melissa's truck.
What did you say happened?
He said he hit her. The baseball batter.
She wasn't hit with a bat, she was shot.
I know he did a little bit more than that.
I don't know. Told me he stabbed her. See, I don't know if he took her life or not.
This guy's all over the place.
Yeah. He's not believable.
No.
He'll say anything to help himself here, but he is putting his son Jeff up in this.
I think the son did it. I don't think the son really laid it out to him exactly how he did it.
Yeah.
There were 12 calls from this guy's phone and the victim. 7 of them came from Rigdon's and 5 of them came from Melissa. It could very well be that the victim was talking to the son Jeff and not this guy.
Detectives John Palmer and Phil Harding head out to find Jeff Rigdon.
One of those calls that comes into that girl comes from a motel, and it ain't 5 minutes from that guy's house.
Detective Palmer heads to a nearby motel that showed up on Melissa's phone records the day of the murder.
I checked it about 30 minutes ago.
They bring Jeff Rigdon down to homicide for questioning. In the Memphis murder case of 78-year-old Maurice Piggies, the homicide team has two suspects, Devron Taylor, who admitted to being at the scene the night of the murder, and Alvin Gordon, the alleged shooter. Detectives have Alvin in the interrogation room, where they have just discovered him trying to chew through an electrical cord.
I'm not gonna let you do that. What you doing with this for? Huh?
He was trying to chew through the electrical cord. We had to go in and get that out because he might be successful with that.
Mason calls Alvin's cousin, Calvin Jr., to check on his alibi.
Okay, all right, bye. He said it was not over my house. And he gonna come up here and put it on paper.
3 hours later, Alvin's cousin, Calvin Jr., arrives at homicide.
He said, well, y'all let me go in there and talk to him then. What is it gonna hurt?
The team agrees to send in Calvin Jr. to try to convince Alvin to talk.
So I can't even see you shooting an old man, man. You do it for. Just tell him. Do it for you, fool. Tell the truth. Oh, he gonna say something.
All you can do, Alvin, is tell us what happened. That can make all the difference in the world in the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Just take a couple deep breaths.
In the Memphis murder of Maurice Piggies, Sergeant Terry Max and his team have their alleged shooter, Alvin Gordon, in custody. Now, detectives are hoping Alvin will talk. Alvin claims that Devron wanted to steal the victim's car. They waited for him to come home.
Yeah, you know, the little purple car pulled up. I see Mr. P walk in the backyard. And then I'm hit in the face. And I ran, and I heard the gunshot. I didn't care run.
You're doing the right thing, Alvin. I know it may seem heavy on you, but it'll work out for you. Okay?
With 12 hours left, Detectives closed their case.
That is perfect.
In the first 48, the Memphis homicide team responded to the murder of 78-year-old Maurice Piggies, shot dead outside his home. They located a man named Devron Taylor, who admitted to being there the night of the murder, and named Alvin Gordon as the alleged shooter. Alvin's cousin convinced him to cooperate with police. And Alvin told investigators that although he was at the scene at the time of the murder, it was Devron who allegedly shot the victim.
We may never know who actually pulled the trigger, but it doesn't matter. Both of them are being charged anyway. Magnolia has definitely seen better days. But Mr. Piggies was determined to stay in the Magnolia community and not give up on it. But unfortunately, he lost his life in his neighborhood.
In the Dallas murder investigation of Melissa LeSueur, Detective Bob Ermatinger may have located his suspect, Jeff Rigdon. Now, he needs to get him to talk.
Boy, he is freaking out.
Do you know Melissa LeSueur?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. She was murdered. I hung out with her once or twice, and it was just stupid dope thing. She came over with Brian Hunter.
Jeff says he knew Melissa through Brian Hunter, Melissa's ex-boyfriend who slashed her tires.
Okay, you ever call her on the phone?
Maybe like once or twice.
At the time, right before she got killed, there was a ton of phone calls to your house.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I do drugs, I don't remember a lot of things. It could have been like just some dope thing. Yeah.
Jeff admits to helping Melissa buy drugs in the past.
Well, here's the other kicker. Okay, somehow your dad ended up with her truck.
I don't know what to say to that because he doesn't even know who she is. I'll tell you that much.
All right. Then I'll be back in a few minutes, okay?
All right.
You all right?
Yeah, cool.
Detective John Palmer goes in to confront Jeff Rigdon with the victim's cell phone records.
Hey, Jeff.
Oh, yeah. Bing, 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 bing. Yeah.
Put the calls between you and her quick by the time she dies.
This is so crazy.
Your dad's in that truck. Your phone is burning up her phone. That's stuff that can't go away, all right? That's the truth.
Okay.
It's never going to be just a coincidence.
I don't know anything, sir. Sir, I don't.
How's your dad put you up all in this?
Because he's scared and now he's, I don't know. I'm never going to talk to him again.
Jeff, I just have a huge problem with this.
I don't know what happened, dude. I didn't do anything, man.
He was unwavering on, I didn't do it.
When a normal person gets accused of something they've not done, they can act. When you let him know Dad put you in there, it makes him angry.
With only Jeff's father's statement, detectives don't have enough to arrest him.
He doesn't have it all.
These guys all run in the same drug circle. They all know each other. But unless someone comes forward and we get a break here, we don't have much to go on right now.
Detectives have to release Jeff Rigdon.
Flat out mystery.
6 months later, Melissa's family is still trying to cope with their loss.
Losing my daughter is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I miss talking to her so much. It's just unreal.
What I don't understand is why anyone would harm some lady out picking wildflowers, not bothering anyone. But I know someday it'll come out. I just hope that we live long enough to see this happen.